Hello, sweet potatoes. It's me, it's Average Jane, coming at you again. I had some time and I was doing a little bit of self-reflection. So I thought I would come here and share some of my thoughts. It's 2026 and every year people reflect on the year before, they reflect on the current year, what they expect, they wonder if it's going to be a good year or not. I said in a previous video that I think this is the year for us potatoes. I have a good feeling about it. But then I started thinking about it, and it has nothing to do with luck. It has nothing to do with chance. It's how we approach it and the things we do to make it successful or lack thereof. Obviously, there's going to be things that we can't control, but there's a lot of things that we can. So I decided that part of my New Year resolution is to come into this year conscious of what I want, conscious and aware of what my goals are. And to make it, I'm not going to sit there and be passive and wait for it to be a good year. I'm going to pursue that, actively pursue it in order to make sure that it happens. Of course, life happens and there's going to be a lot of things that are beyond our control. We're not going to focus on that. There's nothing we can do about that. We deal with those as they come. So the first part is understanding who you are if you're going to tackle the year ahead, meaning knowing what your strengths are, knowing what your weaknesses are, knowing what your core values, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, who makes you happy and who makes you sad. These are kind of primitive questions, but they do a lot to help you face challenges that are coming up front. For example, I have a friend who every time she's stressed, hops in a car, drives around aimlessly, blasting her music off, and that brings her joy. What makes me happy is I go online and I start shopping, trying to get out of that hobby and getting into a better one, like spending time with my pets. My pets are like my children, so trying to pour more love into them, trying to maybe make some changes in at home, my living situation, trying to clean, trying to organize. So trying to send the energy into something a little bit better and more productive than online shopping for no reason. You also have to know what your core values are. I was in a toxic workplace for a very long time, for about 6 years. It would get a little bit better and then it would get continuously worse. Finally, I decided that this is very toxic. I tried everything I could to fix it. Nothing would fix it. It's just not fixable. The problem was coming from all the way up from HR. I worked for a kind of privately owned place, and so rules were kind of varied. There was a lot of favoritism. And it made me realize that my core value is not to lower my standard and lower my value. I know who I am and I know what I bring to the table. If I have to constantly convince you of that, you're the issue, it's not me. So if you don't see my value, that doesn't take my value away from me, right? If you don't value a $100 bill, that doesn't mean that it's not a $100 bill and can be used in many different ways. So once I realized that, I actually left that job and got a new job. I was very apprehensive. I was scared to do it because you're in your old position for a very long time. You know what to expect, you know what you're doing, you have that experience. To suddenly stop at my age, I'm not in my 20s anymore, I can't just hop from job to job. So to have to go somewhere else and start from the beginning and have to prove myself from the beginning all over again was what held me back. It was scary. It was something that I wanted to avoid at all costs. But once I sat down with myself and did a little bit of self-reflection, I decided that, you know what, if you're not gonna value me, if you don't understand my self-worth, then maybe I'm not for you. I'm not meant for you. I'm meant for someone. I could be a better fit somewhere else. And I am so glad I made that move. I regret the time that I wasted wasting my energy and my time trying to prove myself to people who are wearing, blinders on, who are not interested in seeing the truth or seeing the other side of the conversation. So very happy that I did that. No regrets so far. So I'm gonna bring that into the new year, do a little bit of self-reflection, know what your values are, know what you're okay and willing to be flexible on, and where you're not. Where do you draw the line? What are you willing to what are you willing to negotiate, and what are you willing to not negotiate? The other issue is problems. So I'm the type of person who, I've lived on my own for a while. I like to fix my own problem. If something came up, I do it right away. People come to me for advice. People come to me for help if they're stuck somewhere in life. And that's great. I'm glad you look at me and you think that person has strength and she's able to pull me through. But sometimes we're the type of people that need the help the most. Just because I'm capable of being completely independent, just because I'm capable of doing everything alone on my own, doesn't mean that I constantly want to do that every single day of my life. It's exhausting. It's very exhausting. It drains you. And at the end of the day, after work and after all these issues and solving your own problems and being there for someone else, at the end of the day, you're left with nothing. So knowing when to set boundaries, knowing when to ask for help, it's not a sign of weakness. It's okay to reach out, just like other people are reaching out to you. Know when to stop and know when it's okay. Know where your boundaries are. Know the kind of energy and the kind of people you have in your inner circle. I'm at the age where I feel like not everybody is worth my energy. Not to say that they're not good people, everyone's great, but the older you get, the smaller that circle around you gets. So I want people who seek the same things that I want in life, have very similar values that I do, and that have their stuff together. I don't want to have someone who's constantly not willing to make any changes and not willing to improve as a grown-up. Stay persistent. Go after what you want. Like I said, I wasn't happy in my job. I tried to do the best I can, but then I knew that I had to go out there and seek something else, and I did. I took my time and I searched for something that I felt like I would be a good fit for. If you think something is worth having, be persistent. There's a saying that I heard a long time ago: nothing worth having comes easy. So there's going to be a little bit of struggle. There's going to be a little bit of hardship, but know when to fold and know when to go hardcore and keep going. That's also tied up to your values. How much do I value this thing? How much do I think it's going to contribute to me and to my life? So important questions to ask as well. The other thing is continuously learning. That's been my goal. When you were young and there was some kind of technology and your parents had no idea what they were doing, and they would embarrass you. You'd be like, "Mom, it's so easy. You just hit this button." Well, I'm at that age where I'm that parent. AI, technology, all these things out there, I have zero understanding of. So I tried to learn a little bit of that. That's why I started a YouTube channel. I wanted to see what's out there. I have very little time to be a social butterfly, and I'm also very introverted. So I thought this is a way for me to talk to myself pretty much like a weirdo. And if there's anyone out there who wants to listen, great. Then that's the two of us trying to find our way through life. So constantly learning, not just what's out there and what's new, but also in your own field, growing in your own field, getting certified, being up to date, read more on the topics, figure out how you can grow. Don't wait for someone to push you or hold your hand and tell you, "Hey, let's educate you more, let's help you grow." You do that. Be your own and strongest advocate. I am a pharmacist, so being a pharmacist, I like to see what's out there. There's constantly new medication. There's constantly new vaccines. So I try to read up on all of that as much as I can, and I try to get certificates. An injector in, Botox and filler. I'm not so good with doing it on myself, but I've had a few happy clients. So I do that on the side sometimes, and I got certified. I took a course. This is something that I like. This is something that I'm interested in. I'm still considered a beginner, so do I know everything there is to know? No. Am I the best out there? No. Is there room to grow? Absolutely. And I'm willing to put that time in, and I'm willing to put that effort in. So grow, not just professionally, grow as a person. What kind of life do I want to live? Do I want to live in cluttered, dirty home? No, then let me make some changes. I, for this year, want to add meditation because I don't do that. There's a lot of stress throughout the day. There's a lot of go, go, go. There's no time to breathe. You don't get enough time to process what's going on because I'm busy all the time. And my shifts are long. I'm at work for 11 to 13 hours per shift. So there's no time to breathe. There's no time to eat. You're lucky if you have time to go to the bathroom. And that's fine. It is what it is. I'll take it, the good with the bad. There's also some good things. Like I said, I'm happy. It's a new job and I'm happy and very glad I made that change. But you also need to give your body time to heal and your mind time to heal. Otherwise, you're suppressing yourself. It can lead to depression. It can lead to anger problems. So it's very important for you to figure out how to deal with that. Sometimes, like I said, I have a friend that jumps in the car and just drives around, and it's very healing for her. I'm going to try to meditate. That's my year goal. So far, I've done a very bad job. So far, I've meditated 0 times. I do write it in my notebook. I have a little notebook where I have a to-do list of what I'm accomplishing. Like I write it every week. This is my goal for the week. So I include that. So it's always there as a reminder. I'm off today and I'm off tomorrow. So, hopefully I can get started, see how that works for me, see how I want to improve it. Some people like to, call someone, call your mom, call your best friend, vent for a little bit, whatever it takes for you to get that pressure off and to be good and healthy mentally. Do that. Do what it takes. Try a few things. Maybe you don't know. Maybe you have no idea. Try a few things. Write in a journal. Discover your outlet, what lets you vent, what takes out all that energy, and do it nightly. If you can't do it nightly, at least do it often. And the last thing is something no one will do for you. When you're down, there's going to be a lot of people there to criticize you, to tell you what you're doing wrong, to point fingers. But when you're being successful, there aren't going to be as many people that are there for you to celebrate you. So you do that. Don't wait for someone to come and pat you on the back. Be your own advocate, your strongest advocate. Like I said before, celebrate yourself. Celebrate your strengths. Celebrate your victories. Even if no one else wants to, even if no one else appreciates it, you do that for yourself. Buy yourself a little gift. Go out for a nice dinner, buy a cake, I don't know, do whatever it takes for you to celebrate you so you can remember, so your mind registers those happy feelings and those successes and those happy thoughts. So you saw the curve to success. It's like a squiggle, it's not a straight line. So celebrating your success helps you remember that. So it helps you every time you're in a rut or every time there's an obstacle in life, you remember that's just it. It's just an obstacle. The good thing about being down is there's no other way to go from there but up. So celebrating your victories helps having a nice balanced life. And it also helps you remember every time you meet an obstacle that, wait, I've had issues before and I was successful and I was able to do it. This too shall pass. It's just a moment in life. It's just a station and we're gonna pass it at some point. So all of that is important for your mental health. These are some of the things I was thinking about going into 2026. I want to go in mindful and I want to go in with a purpose. I don't want to sit there and go, well, I hope this year is better than last year, or I hope this year is great. I'm going to go out there and make it great. I'm going to look for ways to make it great. However, whatever that means to you, whether it is working hard to get a promotion at work, whether it is to work on your relationship or find a meaningful relationship, whether it is to, bond with your kids, whatever that may be to you, make it purposeful. Don't be passive in your own life. Take the wheel yourself and decide how you're going to navigate through your own story that you're living. And I think that's the best way to try to set yourself up for success and to set yourself up for a good year ahead. So these are just some of the thoughts that I had. These are some of the things that I have written down in my notes. I'm trying to make my time and my goals more purposeful so that they better help serve me and help me grow, so that I'm not stuck in a rut, so that I'm not a victim like I felt when I was in a previous job. Know your obstacles, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and work with that, work around it, and find a solution. Don't wait for the solution to come to you. You will regret the time wasted, like I did, spending 6 years at a place that didn't appreciate me. The second I left, I felt like this dark cloud just lifted over me, and I'm a lot happier now. And imagine I had done that at the first sign of issues. That's because I didn't really have boundaries. I was a little bit of a pushover. Every time I got mad, they begged me to come back, and I said, okay, there's going to be no more of that. Whatever it takes for me to hold my values, that's what it's going to go. Some things are a hard no. Some things, okay, I'm willing to negotiate. I'm willing to meet you halfway. Know where that fine line is for you, and remember it and stick to it. So that's it. These were some of my thoughts. Tell me, guys, tell me, I don't know what they ever comments, but tell me what some of your things are. Give me advice. What else am I missing? What else can I do to be my best advocate, to promote myself in this new year, and to be purposeful in my life and all the decisions that I make? If there is something that you guys have tried and you feel like is absolutely amazing, and that it improved your life to the better, and you want to share that with everybody, that would be absolutely amazing. I would love to hear back from anybody who has some ideas. These are just some of mine off the top of my head. And thank you so much for listening to me today, and I will see you next time, my potatoes. Bye.